Hello, David. Well, your latest tour, The World is Everything, lasts for a month. Can you tell me your first impressions? And is there any specific show that really stick to your memory from the last month?
Well, actually, last night was really nice in Offenbach. There was a kind of small, intimate show, but the sound on stage was fantastic, which is always very helpful. The crowds generally, wherever we've gone, have been really receptive, very generous, very warm, and that is, always uplifting for musicians to come face to face with an audience that are that receptive. So we get great feedback from the crowds that we play to. There was a show in Dublin. Again, it was a very intimate show, and I remember that as being a particularly good one. But I think generally the standard's been pretty high.
And can you tell me, there were some rumors recently that you lost your interest actually in playing live, but fortunately you started a new tour. What made you change your mind about live performances?
I haven't really changed my mind about live performance. I think what happened was that in 2003 I released an album called Blemish, and it kind of marked a departure for me in terms of the compositional process. As a result, I felt that I'd made a kind of a minor evolution of sorts as a writer, and I had trouble going back and tackling older material and kind of feeling a connection with it. And so I thought, well, it was time to stop doing this, time to stop touring the catalogue, as we tend to do. And that was a decision I made, and I think I felt that it was the right decision. But some friends of mine suggested I just take the material out once more on the road to kind of reconnect with it one last time, to celebrate it with an audience, and to sort of, what can I say, let it go with a sense of finality.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I'll be touring again, but if I do tour again, I certainly won't be performing as much of the older material as I currently am.
And when you play older material, actually you're playing it at some different level than from what we can hear on the studio albums. So what interests most of the fans? Are you planning to release maybe some DVD with live material from the tour?
No, I'm not that interested in live recordings. So no, that's not my intention at all.
And what can you tell me to go back to some previous periods in your career? At the late 80s, in your solo career, you actually started interesting in instrumental music, which was quite different from the Japan period. Working with the acts like Holger Tsukai, Richie Sakamoto, etc. And what inspired you to go to instrumental music? And how do you feel about instrumental music nowadays?
Well, we tackled some sort of semi-instrumental pieces, even with Japan. Back in the 80s, the very early 80s, when I recorded Brilliant Trees, there was extensive instrumental passages on that album, which just sort of led on to full-blown instrumentals. There was just a natural evolution. And I found that the instrumental work fueled the vocal work, and vice versa. When you're working on a vocal piece or vocal album, you have ideas for instrumental works, and vice versa. So that this is a good way and productive way to keep working. And I still have an interest in working with instrumental pieces, but currently I'm enjoying singing far too much, probably more so than any other time in my life. So the focal point for me at the present time is on vocal works, although I have just released an audio art installation piece. So you tend to move back and forth all the time, and I think it's a healthy way to sustain one's interest in the compositional process and in the work one does, to keep it as varied as possible.
And what can you tell me about that installation piece, When Loud, Weather Buffered, Naoshima?
Well, it was a commission from the people on Naoshima Island. There's an extensive art collection there. There's a couple of museums, some small, what's called art houses, and they hold a festival every so often called the Standard Festival. And I was invited to be part of the Standard Festival. Basically, when people arrived on the island, they were given an iPod with this audio that I'd created specifically for this particular commission. and the audio kind of acted as an interface between all these different artworks that were located in various different spots around the island. It kind of connected them in some way, and became part of the experience of the festival. Since then it's become part of the permanent collection on the island. So I'm very pleased about that, and it feels right that the work remains accessible on the island. We've released it on Samadhi Sound in a limited edition form, but once the editions run out, the only place you could access the work will be on Naoshima Island.
Was it actually the basic idea that you already had some music themes in your head, or you were inspired by the world around you?
Well, a little of both, actually. I had a very vague idea for an instrumental piece I wanted to work on that involved certain elements. And when I visited Naoshima and was given this commission, I saw a connection between this nebulous idea that was beginning to take shape and how it would apply in that particular context. So I just kind of went ahead and started it on that basis. And it seemed to work very well. Although the piece obviously developed and evolved, possibly in a different way than it would have done, because of the commission, because of the context.